Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to set up for playing electric guitar or pretty much any electrical instrument for that matter that uses an amplifier and cables and such. Um, so when you're trying to learn guitar or just play in general and you don't have your equipment and hardware set up the right way, things aren't going to sound the way you want them to, and you're really going to hate the way you sound, and your family's going to really hate the way you sound too. So there's three things that are crucial for making sure your electric setup is all right. The first thing is going to be your positioning of your instrument and your hardware. The second is going to be your power to your instrument and the hardware. And then third is going to be your tone. The tone is pretty much how the guitar sounds and what your effects and your amplifier do to your sound. So first of all, positioning, you're going to want to find a chair that has no armrests. I like this hot pink one, just does the job. Second of all, you're going to have your feet like flat on the floor. You're going to have them pretty much like shoulder width or whatever. When you hold the guitar, you're going to want to make sure that it's resting on your dominant leg. So if you're right-handed, you want to make sure the guitar is resting on your right leg and it's laying across your left. If you're like left-handed or you're just left dominant but still play right-handed, you're going to want to rest on your left hand. You'll just find it easier, and you'll have to use less muscle. Second of all, you're going to want to make sure that your amplifier is within reach of you. I like to keep mine like right next to me, facing me. That way I can play at the maximum volume. Doesn't have to be that loud just because it's like right next to me. You're also going to make sure that your pedals are like in the floor in front of you. That way you can hit them with your feet as you're supposed to. Another thing, make sure that everything's like your cables aren't tangled and everything, because that can just cause so many problems and it's just frustrating. But once you've got everything plugged in, you've got your guitar plugged into your cable, and your cable plugs into your pedal, and your pedal plugs into your amplifier, and your amplifier plugs into the wall, then you're going to want to power everything on. You don't want to turn anything on unless you've got everything wired completely, because I'm sure y'all have heard people performing up on stage, if they speak into the mic too closely, or they just, they mess with something on the electronics board, it makes a really high pitched, just deafening noise. So you don't want to do that. Make sure everything's plugged in the way it's supposed to before you power anything on. Once you've got everything plugged in and powered on, you're going to notice that as you play your guitar, you're probably going to hear sound coming through it, but it's probably not going to sound that good. So on your amplifier, you've got a few settings. You've got bass, you've got your mid-range, and you've got your treble settings. Depending on your instrument and depending on your amp, you're just going to have to fool with these settings and just see which ones provide the least feedback and just sound the best to you. It's honestly just like a personal preference thing. But on your guitar, there's a switch that indicates a rhythm and a lead, and there's also a middle switch. So if you want to play guitar for the rhythm section of a song, you're gonna switch that lever to rhythm. But if you want to play solos, or you want to play little tiny bits that add on to the main part of a song, you're gonna switch it to lead. That's what you hear people who play guitar solos and stuff use. It sounds a lot more crisp and clean, and just it cuts through everything a lot more. But yeah, pretty much you've got everything set up. Make sure everything sounds the way you want it to. Make sure you go through all these steps before you try to learn guitar, before you try to sit down and play, because you're really gonna adjust to your sound being that crappy and not good sounding if you just keep playing without adjusting and making sure everything is set up properly. But once you do have everything set up properly and you start playing like that on a regular basis, everything's just gonna start sounding way better to you. Everything's just gonna click way better. And also, if you ever perform live or in front of friends, you're not gonna be just struck out of nowhere and not know what to set, and it's gonna sound terrible and they're gonna think you're bad. So thank you.